Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the Sharks host Western Province in the Currie Cup final at Kings Park tomorrow. Now, these teams have battled for the trophy at the same venue in 2013, and it was the Sharks who were victorious 4 years ago, winning 33-19. Now, to discuss tomorrow's final, we're joined live in studio by bet.co.za CEO James Buston. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Statistically speaking, right, these teams have what it takes, right, to perform through the final tomorrow. But to get to where they are now, how did you see the regular season?
Well, I must say I'm really looking forward to this final. It's going to be a great game. Throughout the season, they've both been great teams. Sharks have been dominant. They only lost their first game against Cheetahs and their last game of the round-robin stages to Province in Durban. And ended up on top of the log with 47 points, well ahead of anyone else. Province also had a good season. They lost 5 games though, 10 points behind the Sharks in the log. They both scored a lot of points throughout the season, but the Sharks' defensive record meant they came out on top in terms of points difference throughout the season. So they've got the edge in terms of the round stages, but that doesn't really mean too much when it comes down to a final.
And speaking of that, I mean, Province came away with a win at the round-robin stage. Does that mean they've got a mental advantage over the Sharks?
Funnily enough, I believe it's the 3 out of the last 4 finals that these two teams have played against each other. There's been 3 instances where the one team has lost the last game of the group stages and then gone on to win the final. So there's always a bit of this kickback from that. So maybe we'll see the Sharks bounce back instead of having it dwindle over their heads.
So it's not going to count as much?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, let's talk about their tactics, right? What type of final can we expect?
Well,
they've met in the final like 8 times before. So.
Yes. Well, I mean, the Sharks have been playing a lot of strong forward rugby playing, and that's what I see to happen on Saturday. I don't see a lot of ball in hand running rugby. It's not a New Zealand game. It's a South African Currie Cup final. Teams are going to be trying to drive each other back and using their fly halves, hoping a team makes a mistake while they've got the territory, and then capitalize with maybe a kick. So that's where I see it panning out. We've got Currie and Bosch, who I think maybe has the edge over Dupree in that regard. His kicking is, well, they've both got great kicking ability, but Bosch also has the drop goal ability. He's done it 4 times this season. The last time he did it was against the Bulls in the semi-final, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again. At bet.co.za, we've also priced up a bet boost for that, where we've put out a bet type where if Currie and Bosch scores a drop goal, we'll pay you out 450 Rand if you were to wager 100 Rand, so 4.5 to 1. And I think that's probably the type of gameplay that we're looking at, more kicking than fast running rugby.
So the team that's more physical or has a more physical presence on the day will likely win the final.
Yeah.
What you're saying?
Yeah, I think the forwards need to come to the party and give their fly-offs the room that they need. I think Sharks, their loose trio, I think the Dupree twins are going to have a big game. And yeah, they'll be driving up a lot of forward play and then very physical.
And as we wrap it up, James, how key is home ground advantage in the Currie Cup final?
Home ground is always a big advantage, but the team still need to capitalize on that. The last 2 finals that these 2 teams have played against each other, the away team has won. So it's not always a deciding factor, but it does help. Gary Teichmann is going to be trying to fill up the stadium. He's going to try and drive that home as much as possible. Another one, when we're looking into our customers, our punters, and what they've been betting on in the last game where the Sharks were at home, they were clear favourites and everyone was backing the Sharks. Now Sharks still at home, but people have kind of lost a bit of faith and now they're all backing Province. So home ground advantage isn't the be and end all, but it does help.
It's going to be an interesting Currie Cup final nonetheless.
For sure.
That was bet.co.za CEO James Buston joining us live in studio this morning.